Yeah, it's actually been a while. Our listeners wouldn't notice because it's been like a pretty hectic like month and a half, I think.
Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy month.
Yeah.
I think as everyone knows in the memes I've shown, January 2012. It's been pretty crazy.
Yeah. But we're back. I'm going to try to stay on top of the editing, so maybe we'll be like semi-live a little bit. So I'll try to do this one tonight.
Sure.
Maybe we can keep that going.
But, you know, as we've been doing, this is a new season, 2 seasons a year, so welcome to season 4.
Wow, we've been here a while already.
Yep. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, you guys haven't given up on us yet.
Have they not?
I mean, I think we dipped a little bit by not publishing regularly. But
yeah,
I
that was our winter break.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Lots
we'll
of
become a
people-
little bit more regular.
We
going
have a
forward.
winter break
I
and a
think-
summer break.
Yeah, I think most content creators kind of dip a little bit during Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I hope so. Well, no, I don't hope that for them. I just hope that when it happened to us, it was part of a pattern.
Well, we can start out with some sad news because we did have a show mascot, Catullus, and we lost him on Christmas Day. So that's a little bit of sad news.
Yeah, R.I.P. to Catullus.
Spirit of the show was in him, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, poor thing. But also lots of other things have happened since
Yeah,
then.
rest in peace, Kobe,
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess
yeah.
Kobe.
Kobe
and
went the way
Gigi.
of Catullus.
and all those other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and all
Catullus is playing with Kobe in heaven.
yeah.
Coronaviruses. I don't know.
Yeah, coronavirus.
Australia was burning for a while. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Like that was so widespread, and like
Is that over with mostly now?
I think it's there might still be fires.
I
We
mean,
don't
they,
hear
they,
about
they
it right
did
now.
have like a good amount of rainfall.
Right,
okay.
So,
It's their summertime, right? So they had some rain.
did you guys see that video of the was it
Dryness.
prime minister? I think
Uh-huh.
went out to go visit like some farm town.
That woman that refused to shake his
Yeah.
hand. That yeah.
And
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just like they basically bitched his ass out of there, and then he just left
Oh,
because everyone was
wow.
like bitching him out.
Dude, and
What did he
Australians are
do?
crazy. They're not quiet about that either.
Oh,
like
yeah,
they
no.
don't give a fuck.
He
know,
was
they
just trying to, I don't know. He was just trying to do some PR thing, like, oh, I'm out here in the fields.
It's like, fuck off. Dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
You know, they have like compulsory voting there, which is like pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
it's kind of cool. Well,
So it's like that's your guy, you know.
Here's a fact coming from my I tutor students in U.S. history, and around the beginning of the 20th century, they started using in the U.S. What they call the Australian vote. Do you guys know what that is?
We do not. I speak. for
Maher,
both
have you
us.
heard of that?
The Australian vote, Maher?
Sorry, I was off mic for a second. I was AFM. Australian vote?
Yeah, so I was saying in the
I've never
beginning
heard
of
of
the 20th century, as like one of the democratic reforms in the U.S., they implemented the Australian vote, and that's basically what do you call it? God, how do I say this? Secret voting. There you go.
But don't we already have secret voting?
But we didn't before that.
Oh,
And it was
more
called
like
the
a
Australian
caucus
vote
kind of
because I think they first started doing that widespread in Australia.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So before that, like people, I guess they didn't hide it, and so corrupt like bosses and stuff like that
Yeah,
could
yeah.
see and come after you if you didn't vote
Break
for
your
them.
fingers. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. We actually have like a few Australian listeners.
Oh,
I'm
that's
glad
right,
you
we
guys
do.
are, got through that fire thing. Hopefully everything will be okay.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy too when you looked at the maps of like the smoke and all of that. Like, it seemed to like on purpose directly all the smoke went to New Zealand.
Oh, really?
It was like in one specific direction because
It was a
they got a lot of the
conspiracy.
smoke and like the sky, like you could see it
Oh,
in
fuck.
New Zealand. Yeah.
It wasn't like hazardous to them, was it?
Yeah, I mean, like
Maybe
the air
it sounds
quality
like-
and things like that, it was pretty bad for New Zealand, but they didn't have crazy wildfires like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But New Zealand is in a particular place. It's like all the smoke just straight up went there. So that was kind of crazy.
It's like
I mean,
when-
it's the only place that it can really go, though, besides the ocean, right?
Well, that's what I mean. It's surrounded by ocean. It could have gone anywhere else.
well, what about Papua New Guinea, right?
Yeah, right.
But the fires were like on sort of like the eastern kind of half or third of Australia, though, right?
Yeah, which is crazy. That's where most people live.
Yeah, because the rest is not. I don't think it's very forested.
Well,
once
the
you go
middle
west.
is desert, right?
Yeah.
The middle of the country.
And the West Coast has a little bit.
The West Coast is
The
more of the
South Coast has a little
Mediterranean
bit.
climate. I'm sorry, not West. The East Coast where people live is
Oh.
like that Mediterranean climate. So they have brush, basically, right? Which they call the bush. They have bushes and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Damn, they have bushes in Australia.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, so I
They
guess
have
they
the
get the same
bush.
kind of fires we get here in California, then, right?
Basically, I mean, we do have forests, though.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do too. Like the north of Australia is kind of like tropical, but not too much of it. It's kind of crazy. Everything's on the edges, and the middle is just this giant desert.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. And I think most of it is not very populated.
No.
Basically, most of the continent.
No, it's not. But I was still surprised. I mean, they say desert. There's still plants and stuff out there, but I guess you can't get crazy wildfires. It's more like places like here, like I said, that Mediterranean climate where you have these dry, bushy areas
Yeah.
with trees too and stuff, but it's not like a whole forest. Yeah. Well, it was crazy how much wildlife died. I mean, and they blamed a lot of it. I don't know the exact politics, but they have a pretty conservative government, right?
Last I remember,
And they've denied.
Abbott, right? Is that their prime minister?
I have no idea.
Or maybe president. I don't know what kind of system they have.
But apparently, people are really mad at them for mismanaging this stuff, and have blamed it on.
I remember somebody had posted something about like some government official somewhere just being like, well, we can't really do anything about it. We're just going to let it burn for a while or something. And that's like all they could basically
Yeah,
do.
at a certain point, you can like try to save houses and people and stuff, but yeah, at a certain point when it's that widespread, it's just kind of got to burn out. And some of them were started by people, which is funny because like climate deniers and stuff jumped on that, like, oh, these were started by people, so like, oh, there's no climate. But it's like, okay, dude.
Dude, people have been starting fires forever, man.
Yeah,
Never
but
burned up a whole country.
a whole continent. But I mean, like, it was obviously exacerbated by
Yeah. There's
climate
certain
change
conditions
and
that exist that allow that
policies.
to happen.
Right. Yep. Other changes, I got a new job. I was really sick for like 2 weeks.
Were you really?
Yeah. At the end of December. And then I got better for like a couple days, and then I got really sick again. It was my yearly freaking bronchitis. It seems to flare up once a year. I'm sure the smoking doesn't help.
Yeah, I got sick for a
And then
few
I got
days
like
there
a
too.
flu, man. There was some really bad flu going around this year. Sorry.
Yeah.
Apparently the influenza, I was reading a little bit about it yesterday, just reading about the coronavirus, or a couple of days ago, how a lot of times people call, like, what they get the flu, even though it might not be, but I'm pretty sure reading the symptoms, like, I got full-blown influenza this time,
Oh, really?
because it was, like, way worse than usual.
Did you go to the hospital?
What's the
No,
difference? Do you get like a fever or something?
yeah, exactly, yeah. No, I was about to because my parents thought I was dying, but then I didn't.
And they didn't even
kinda got
notify
over it.
us?
Yeah, sorry. But no, yeah, I got a pretty bad fever and started hallucinating like crazy.
No
That was
way.
yeah.
Dude, I don't think I've ever had that. I've heard
Really?
about it. Like, you get fever so bad you start like tripping. But
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever happened to me.
I definitely got it. It was not good.
Like, what were you seeing?
Like it was kind of like you can't tell if it's like a dream or real or whatever. It's not like I saw things like hopping around or whatever. It just
Right.
kind of feels like a waking dream,
It's
basically.
like a rainbow bunny, just like
Yeah.
Well,
This
that's
is awesome.
awesome.
You guys want some of this? I'll cough on you. Yeah. And I got a new job, so no more stories about my awesome coworkers.
But we love those
Who listen
guys.
to this,
man.
yes.
Glad you, and Bob's gonna go infect his new coworkers. now
Yeah.
with the podcast.
Well, yeah, with the podcast, because
Yeah,
Oh.
now with the flu.
like a few days after I started working there, because I was really worried I'm going to start a new job and like I'm going to be really sick. But luckily, like, I had pretty much recovered. I could still feel it when I started this job.
Mhm.
A couple of days later, everybody else got sick at the
No
office,
way.
so I kind of felt bad. I hope it wasn't me, but
How many people?
at this new office, there's not as many. The crazy thing is, like, I don't know. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's like 8 or 9 people at the office, but it's in one building because it's a law firm and they have several locations. There's like 4 of them, but this one it's in one building, but there's 3 separate suites. So the one suite that me and the lawyer I work for, we're just like separate. So
just 9 people among 3 suites?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
2 of the people do full time. They do PR, which is kind of crazy.
PR for a law firm?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well,
wait, where are there other offices? Are there any closer to here?
No.
Oh.
No, there's one in like Orange County. I forget where the other ones are. But, it's crazy. They're very focused on motorcycle accidents.
Oh, okay.
Branched out of doing other things now too, but it's kind of interesting because they go to these conventions and all of that where like all these motorcycle gangs.
No way, they go to motorcycle conventions?
Yeah, they do. And, sign people up. So, I guess one...
Is it one of those things where you're going to start feeling pressured that you don't ride a motorcycle to work?
No, I don't think anybody does. Dude, you work there and like I've worked for other law firms where and for a chiropractor where you see like car accident injuries and they're usually not that bad. Motorcycle injuries are really bad.
Yeah.
You don't get these soft tissue things like my neck kind of hurts for a while. You get like really bad injuries. So I feel like most people just working in there, like they don't want to go near a motorcycle.
Improve airbags on motorcycles.
Yeah.
Do they have that?
I don't know how that's possible.
Dude, I mean, like,
Put it in the
imagine
road.
that it's illegal to drive in your car, without having a seatbelt on, but it's legal to drive a motorcycle. Like, one of those is like way more dangerous than the other,
I mean, you can wear clothing and obviously you have to have a helmet. Yeah. Just heard a really loud motorcycle pass by.
Yeah, don't know if the audience will hear that.
Yeah.
You know the thing where motorcycles can go between the lanes?
Yeah, lane
Supposedly
splitting.
that's only a California thing.
Yeah,
and
it's
state by state. Yeah,
it's totally
Yeah,
legal.
and I think if not all, but maybe most other states, basically it's illegal to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's a good thing in terms of traffic. Like,
Yeah, but it's also scary as fuck if you're in a car and some motorcycle kind of buzzes you right by.
yeah, so be careful and look out for them, man.
they typically only do it on certain lanes, right? I mean, like smaller streets, they'll do it just everywhere. But like on freeways, they'll lane split mainly on the leftmost lane, in between the left.
Yeah, I guess
Yes.
so. I guess I haven't really paid attention to it, but maybe yeah.
Yeah, between the carpool and the other lane.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's legal, actually.
I'm pretty sure it is because I've literally seen cops and people like...
Well, if you've seen
Right
cops do
behind
it,
them.
you know it's illegal.
No, but like see cops see people do it. Because I'm pretty sure motorcycles, as far as I know, I think they can go in the carpool lane.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Those are my anecdotes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, there are a couple of other things because I did get really sick and I watched, like binge watched several things.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Like I got through all of Witcher. I don't know if you guys watched
We
that.
talked about it a little bit.
I put it on, but it's like one of those things where I just got distracted during the first episode and I just like never went back to it. So
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I liked it.
I didn't see it yet.
Yeah, it's based on like Naldi was saying, on a book by a Polish guy who based it on a lot of like Polish folklore and stuff.
oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like.
Did you play the game, Naj? I remember you telling me about it.
It is. I did play the game. And yeah, the game was huge because it was like it just kind of encapsulated a lot of the best elements from a lot of different games, I guess.
Oh,
It was
okay.
like very narrative driven, but also choice driven. I think that's what I was telling you about it. Like,
I think you might have even brought this up on the podcast before. Yeah. Okay. So it's like you can actually like affect the story in some way.
yeah. So there's like different endings and different outcomes for different things, but that's where it blew up, was the game, and that game developer is like supposed to be like the top dog.
Really popular online.
Yeah. Not top dog in terms of like.
Wait, not Top Dog the developer, because that's also
No.
the name of I think like some video game developer.
Is it?
It might
Probably.
be.
No, they're CD Projekt Red, but they're like top dog in terms of at least like a consumer opinion. Like
yeah,
people,
for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know much about their games, but I know I've read many positive things just generally on
What other
gaming
games do they have?
forums.
They have those games, basically just The Witcher 1, 2, and 3, and then their new game is hyped out of the world right now.
What is it?
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh yeah, I heard about it. Yeah, it
Yeah,
hasn't come
that
out though,
game's
right? Or
been
has it?
being developed forever.
Yeah.
Has it come out?
No, it hasn't.
Okay.
It's coming out this year. But yeah, that's like a one of the things that people love them about is like they don't release a product that's not ready, and within the product there's
That's
no
cool.
like microtransactions.
And honestly, I think what a lot of that comes down to, like for a company like I don't know, like EA or Ubisoft or any of these like mega corporations, is like there's probably a lot of pressure from like
Right.
investors and the owners.
Oh
of those
yeah, for sure.
to
It's not the
basically
developers, yeah,
return
yeah,
some
yeah.
kind of like to have some. I think they call it like a financialization of the product. Anyway,
So apparently that.
but how's the show? It's just one season, right?
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say, it was kind of fun to watch. I don't think they did the best job making it. Kind of.
I feel like
it
you
was-
wouldn't like it, Harry.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's like a fantasy thing to some extent.
Like
but
some aspects of it were way more interesting and fun than others. Like I thought if they made like kind of like each episode like a new monster, like him and his buddy fighting a new monster, like that would have been way more interesting. There's like an overarching story with like
two war. Or it's like there's a civil war going on between two factions or whatever.
right. There's like some big war going on and like this council of wizards and stuff like that. Like
see, I'm already like losing interest. Honestly.
Yeah.
that
when I
story.
hear Council of Wizards, I'm
That story was like way less interesting than, like I said, like this guy and his buddy like going and fighting monsters. Like if they did that in
Yeah.
every episode, it would have been pretty cool.
Because
I think.
that's like the main character, Henry Cavill. He is like part of this small group of people called Witchers, who are basically like go through some kind of process training and like chemical exposure. Did they go through that in the show?
They like hint at it. They jump around in time a lot.
Oh, but basically they are a group of people that get contracted to like deal with monsters. So if like a
okay.
monster is like terrorizing a village, they'll put contracts
see.
out and they'll come and collect them.
Right.
And
I see.
Yeah.
So
And,
that
the
part was
citizens
cool.
of a city or town will hire them to
Yeah,
slay the
or
monsters.
the
Yeah.
So why are they so discriminated against? Because all I saw was the first scene when everybody was like, "Oh, you're a witcher, fuck you."
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
People are afraid of them or something.
yeah, because they're superhuman basically in a certain way.
Okay.
Yeah. So they just
That seems like it would be a reason not to fuck with them, though. But
yeah,
Well,
guess,
yeah.
it's also
Yeah.
to ostracize them. I don't know.
yeah. I guess like it's like a bounty hunter kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, so kind of having bounty hunter and like kind of that fantasy realm, like that part of it was pretty interesting, and his relationship with his buddy. Yeah, it's some like bard following
the
him
bard.
around. So
Oh, really?
that
Okay.
was really cool, but they barely even like spent time on that in the show, I feel like.
And
Anyway,
it's just one season. It's pretty new, right?
yeah, and they just started the like filming the next one, I read.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's super popular,
so it must
so
have
they're
been popular
definitely
enough, yeah.
Oh, and Henry Cavill, man, he's
He's hunky.
yeah, he really is. Dude. As a straight guy, like I gotta say, he's quite a specimen.
That's not the show that they had to use
No,
the
that was a movie.
remustaching technology.
That was a Superman movie.
But what movie was he filming at the time? Do you know?
The Man from Uncle.
Oh, that's
The
right.
Man from Oncle.
Oh, I don't know that one. Yeah.
It was like some lesser known British.
It's
like-
it's a remake, right?
Oh yeah, I think maybe
I
it was
think.
like espionage type thing.
And Uncle is the name of a city.
It's an acronym.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Cool.
But yeah, actually, I remember specifically watching the first Superman that Henry Cavill was in.
Yeah.
And then like later, I was talking to Danny about it, and we were both just like talking about his body and how like ridiculous his body
really?
was, and it's just like it was just super fucking yoked. Just
Yeah.
like he looked like Superman. Like no one. That's what Superman
yeah,
looks like.
I guess
Just a
that's
super
how you
yoked
get that
dude.
kind
Yeah.
of role, you know.
Well, I kind of like that Superman actually. That first
Yeah,
one
yeah.
especially.
Man of Steel.
Yeah.
General Zod with Michael
yeah,
Shannon.
dude, I liked all the where is he from?
Krypton.
Like all that
The backstory.
aspect of it. I don't really like any other Superman movies. But can I just mention one other show that I've been watching that I actually thought I think it's pretty damn good is The Expanse.
Oh yeah, Dennis was telling me about that actually.
Yeah.
He's,
you know what
he's
that
pretty
is,
into it.
Maher?
Amazon,
sounds kind of familiar.
Amazon Prime exclusive.
Okay. It's
Well,
like,
now it is, right? It was like on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, I didn't even know
It
this.
sounds like a
Apparently,
space
Sci-Fi
movie.
started it.
It's a show, yeah.
Mhm.
or
It's
show,
a
yeah.
show. It's been going on a couple seasons. And it's really like I really like the world building. Like I thought it was out of this world. I guess. No, they did a really great job. It's like in the future, where like people have colonized parts of the solar system outside of Earth,
Okay.
and I don't know. I really like
They skip
kind of
over
the,
Mars though, right? It's
the
like way
world they
past
built.
colonizing Mars. They're like way out there, and
Like.
Well,
Neptune and
that's
shit?
the interesting thing. Like, so
no, they're in other fucking galaxies and shit.
no,
No, he said
No.
solar system.
no, just solar system. I mean, it's it's sci-fi. I guess harder sci-fi than softer. So no, they're not outside the solar system. Although it's interesting. Like Mormons are like a pretty big, like still there and like pretty big
Okay.
religion and all of that. And one of the storylines
Like
was
actual Mormons or like a stand-in for?
no Mormons. Yeah,
Okay.
one of the storylines
Like they
was
hired actual Mormons to.
yeah, right.
Both.
Like one of the stories was them trying to kind of build a ship to go colonize like the closest star that has a possible habitable planet. That would be like
It's probably gonna take a while, man.
yeah, that would have generations living on this ship, like this huge
okay.
spaceship. And people talking about like the ethics behind that and all of that, basically forcing your future generations to be on this ship and all that.
Yeah, but you're always doing that.
Exactly. That's literally what I thought. Like you're doing
always
that anyway.
damning the future generations
Yeah.
to your decisions. You can't do otherwise.
But so just in terms of the world building in the show, The Expanse, it is interesting. It goes into something we were talking about off mic. So it's in the future. They're colonizing the solar system, and basically there's 3 factions really. So it's like Earth, which is like super overpopulated,
I'm pro-Earth.
like tens of billions of people. Most people don't work.
Anti-Earth over here.
Yeah, most people don't work. You know what I mean? It's bread and circuses. Like
Okay.
they just live on handouts. One universal, like all Earth UN government. And then there's Mars, the Martians, who were started off as a colony, of Earth, and then they have this prehistory. They talk about some kind of war or something, but the
This
Martians.
is like Europe versus America.
America, yeah,
kinda.
that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
But the Martians are way more like
Sick.
like united in like purpose, trying to terraform the planet and all that.
Okay, yeah.
So they're much more militarized and everything. Smaller population, but like they can still fight Earth basically because they're much more militarized and all that.
Okay.
And that aspect's really interesting. Like they don't get into Mars as much, but like one really cool thing in the show is how much the Martians like idolize and love. Like they're so into like the concept of an ocean on Earth, and that's just an interesting point.
They want one on Mars too.
Right, because Mars doesn't have one, and they see people on Earth. The Earth population is like spoiled and all of that.
Yeah.
Like they ruin their Earth. So Earth is like pretty much what you'd expect under a capitalist society where you have tens of billions of people and like they kind of ruin the planet,
Yeah.
And then another really interesting part is you have these people called belters, who are basically people living in the asteroid belt, who for a long time like they colonized that area to like mine the resources out there.
What, like living on the asteroids?
Well, no, like living
In
on stations and stuff
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
And doing excavation missions or whatever.
Right,
Okay.
and like living on some of the moons and things like that around there. And that's really interesting because they're like the really low class, like, and they don't have like a united government or anything like that. And they've always been like exploited by the two sides. And what's really interesting is like they have this crazy like Creole language, and
Oh,
they
really?
all have these really interesting like.
Oh fuck! I'm gonna love this show then.
Yeah, dude, they have this really, they have this really interesting like South African / like Kiwi type of accent and like this really
Okay.
Creole language. So that aspect of it is really cool in the show. Like I really love how they built this this whole.
So it's
scenario.
accurate that English becomes the primary language for
Yeah,
everyone, right?
kind of, but it is a mix. Like they say these things like that you don't really understand. They're not really English, but this new language, Beltaloda. I don't know. That's something they call themselves.
Okay.
Like it's really interesting thing. I don't know. I like that a lot.
It's like
I
3
like the
seasons,
story.
4 seasons.
I think it's 4 seasons now.
Oh,
The
fuck.
latest
Yeah.
season has come out, and I think that last one was all Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
They picked it up or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the sci-fi canceled. I guess it wasn't
Yeah.
too big. That's probably why you didn't hear about it.
Yeah.
You-
I think I might give it a shot, Bob.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
like
should.
that.
I mean, the story, like it has some issues here and there, but like I said, the world building is like good enough where I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm still watching it, so no spoilies, guys.
Can I do a quick mention of a show I've been watching?
Yes.
It's like this Dutch show on Netflix. Have you guys
Okay.
heard of it? Some Jan de Licht or something. And it's pretty cool. I've only watched a few episodes,
What's
but
it
it's like
called?
really interesting, huh?
Subtitle.
Yeah. I mean, they speak mostly like Dutch and a little bit of French, but it's like, dude, what I didn't realize is that this is based on some legend where basically there was like a Dutch Robin Hood, like almost like independently, and it's kind of like a story of that.
It's
and kind
interesting.
of developing.
What's it called?
You know what? It has an English name, Thieves in the Woods or something.
Oh yeah, I did
So they
see
live
that.
in the forest or the woods, and this guy.
Wait
like,
a minute,
becomes
it's
the
a
leader of
period
this group.
piece.
Yeah, it's like
I
like I don't know, early 1800s or something.
I
something
just
like
I
that.
just put it in my watch list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's really interesting for that purpose too. And then I went on like Wikipedia and read about like the history of Belgium for like it takes place in Belgium, but like the
Okay.
Dutch part of it. or
Dutch
something.
is a really interesting language. It sounds like English, just
yeah,
spoken weird.
like if you're not paying attention too closely, you could think like it might be English.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty closely related language, right?
Yeah, and then I read about like the history of Belgium and like the Netherlands for a while after I watched a couple of episodes.
Yeah,
of it.
it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, it is. Like, do you know Belgium didn't really exist as a country until
Right.
like late 1800s or something?
Kind of a compromise between I think like the French and Spanish.
Yeah,
like that.
there's like the Habsburgs or something
Yeah,
were in control
right.
of it for a while or something. I don't know.
Well, the history of the Netherlands is interesting too in that way because they rebelled against the Spanish, right? That was like a big thing against the Habsburgs and established their own. And the Spanish and the Habsburgs were like the superpower at the time, and this tiny little country like scrappy.
Yeah, see, I didn't go
little
that
place.
deep, so I don't
Yeah.
even remember this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's pretty interesting. Should we play the game?
Well,
Anything else?
just before that too, a little trivia stuff. I did finish that World War I, World War II Learn League mini
Oh
thing.
yeah, you did. You played the whole thing through. How was it?
It was good. There was a lot of stuff that was interesting. That it was pretty challenging. Unfortunately, I had to forfeit one of the days because I was really sick. But they had some really cool.
Damn,
interesting
you were
things.
that sick you couldn't fucking learn League, Bob?
I know, man. I was so out of it. Yeah, basically. But you want to hear like one question?
Yeah,
that was
try
cool.
me.
'Cause
Yeah.
I got it and I wasn't 100% sure about it, but I vaguely remembered this part of it. So the question is: in the 1940s, Operation Fork.
Fork, Fork.
Yeah.
Okay.
Britain launched a surprise invasion of what neutral country, which would remain under British and American occupation for the rest of the war?
Oh wow.
So it's a neutral country. So you would wonder, like, it's probably not in Europe.
Yeah, I was thinking North Africa or maybe somewhere in Asia, but Britain wouldn't really be involved in Asia.
But even I mean, they had colonies. They were involved in Asia, but they did focus outside of Asia. There was actually another interesting question.
I kind of want to think about this, but it might take too long for me to think about it.
Speaking of Britain outside of Asia, because Britain still had their huge empire at the time,
Yeah, sure.
and like they still had India and Myanmar and all of that. And one thing I guess we mentioned before, Bridge on the River Kwai.
Mm-hmm.
It's specifically
Is that a movie?
yes, but it's about the Burma Road.
I've heard about that in relation to World War II, but honestly, I don't remember whatever I learned about it before.
And the question in this was actually it was...
There's a separate question you were talking about?
Yeah, it specifically referenced Bridge on the River Kwai. The question was basically the Japanese were trying to connect what two cities on the Burma Road, which were the
Rangoon
largest.
is the name of a city in Myanmar, I think. That's the only one I know.
So one of them was Rangoon. Yeah.
And the other one, maybe like somewhere in like Bangladesh or something, like Dhaka, or maybe somewhere else in.
I actually got the other one right. The other one
really?
was Bangkok.
That was before you said that. That was literally the
Yeah.
next thing I was gonna guess.
Also, it's not even called Rangoon anymore.
That's a different name. Wait,
Yeah, but dude, do you know what the capital of Myanmar is?
isn't it Rangoon or whatever?
No, it's someplace I've never even heard of. I can't even remember it.
Really?
So
What is the capital, Bob?
Naypyidaw.
That must be a new thing. I've never heard of that.
Naypyidaw. Oh, wait a minute. That is Rangoon. No.
Maybe
no,
it's the local
wait,
name for it. I don't know.
Wait. So Yangon, also called Rangoon City, capital of independent Myanmar, from 1948 to 2006, when the government officially proclaimed the new city of Naypyidaw as the capital.
2006. I feel like I would have
So it did
heard
change.
about that. Okay.
So anyway, do you want to know
It's
what
gonna
that
take
country
me a while
was?
before I remember that city.
Right. You wanna,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna guess
Operation
somewhere in
Fork.
either like the Near East or North Africa. I don't
well,
know.
no, I mean, because those were kind of theaters in the war. Except not in the Near East, right? Britain still had colonies
Yeah,
there, but
I mean,
there
what
was no
there. Yeah, I don't know.
there was no fighting there.
Maybe like Cyprus or something. I don't even know if it was neutral or independent at that point.
So it was Iceland.
Really?
Yeah. 'Cause Iceland was kind of
Ah.
a stepping stone between.
Yeah, North America and Europe. I didn't.
Right.
I didn't know that they weren't allied to the Allies, but I guess TIL.
Well, no, because the
I mean, they
Scandinavian.
have like 100,000 people. What the fuck are they gonna do?
Yeah,
But-
right. But I think that's why, because it was strategically important. I think they made
Yeah.
sure, because as you know, in Scandinavia, like there was fighting there, and some of the countries were like, what do you call it? Was sympathetic towards the Nazis,
Sure.
and at least a couple of them were occupied by Germany,
Norway.
Denmark, and Norway.
I think Denmark and Norway. Yeah. Sweden was neutral and never got invaded, and I
And
don't
then
really remember about Finland. at
Well,
all.
Finland was pretty pro-Germany because they
Yeah.
had the fighting with the Soviet Union and all that.
Yeah.
So they ended up being pro-Germany. I think they had a really right-wing government. Where is Quisling from?
One of those countries. Maybe
is he
maybe
not
Denmark.
Is he not? He's either Norwegian or Swedish, but I think he's Norwegian.
Oh yeah, you would think Norwegian, right? Or maybe Swedish, but mostly Sweden was like kind of uninvolved, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
The only other thing is I've been watching a lot of University Challenge. We could talk about that at another time, but our British listeners will be familiar with
Is
it.
that like a college Jeopardy kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a college quiz bowl thing. I really like it. I really like the questions, and I like the format because they have a team and all of that, and it's a lot more academic. The questions,
Yeah.
and it's kind of funny.
Is it on YouTube? Where is it?
Yeah, they have all the
Okay.
seasons or the newer seasons on YouTube, and it's interesting how much American stuff they ask.
Oh, really?
America seems to be like the
Culturally important in a way.
Yeah.
Everywhere, especially in Europe.
English speaking
Especially
world.
in Anglophone, yeah.
Yeah,
World.
cool.
Cool. Let's start the game then.
All right,
Quiz quarters.
how are we gonna do this?
We are going to do it very well. We are jumping into season 4.
Season 4.
Thank you for enjoying the pre-talk. It is the original trio back at it. We are in a new location. Maher recently moved, and I think we recorded our last episode here. But
we
it was
recorded
empty.
one of the last few here, but it was a while ago, and
Yeah.
there was literally no furniture in here.
New studio.
Bobber literally brought furniture from his house to
Okay,
set up. But here we're back at it, and we're just gonna start off with the miscellaneous general trivia set of questions. 10 questions.
So tell them what we're gonna be doing.
Okay,
So this is what we did the last couple times, I think.
Yeah, we tried something similar last time where I asked the question, and both Bobber and Maher answer simultaneously. They have to write it on a piece of paper, and but there seemed to be a little bit of silence, so we're gonna do that off mic. And then once they have their answers ready, we can discuss things and answer the question.
And I don't know if you guys remember, but we had the rule that once one of us had written down a question, the other person had about 30 seconds. So that kind of led to a little bit of gamesmanship where Maher started writing down answers he thought he didn't know that I might know. So that put a different spin on it. So this time we're going to try to have more of a hard timer, which you guys won't hear. We're going to do it off mic, so there isn't dead air.
Okay.
And then we'll speak about it when we'll talk about the question and discuss it.
All right, there's pretty kind of crazy topics in this 10 question set, just to give you guys a heads up.
I guess
good
I'm ready
good
for
mix.
It's a mix.
Nice.
Okay, but here we'll start. Do you remember who won the last one you...
Well, it's a new season, so
okay.
it's
okay.
Sky by vote, 2 out of 3.
Sure.
My hair.
That's all Robert wants the guy I vote for, is to show my hair.
I still have a chance.
Yeah. Nice.
All right,
I got
Bob wins.
2. All right, I'll go first then.
Wait, there is no going first.
There's no
anymore.
going first, so that was just a fun little...
That was just for pride. Bob gets a little bit of pride on that one.
Bob starts with more pride than Maher.
Hell yeah. I'm so proud.
Okay, question number 1, boys. How did the term piggy bank, quotes, originate?
How did it originate?
How did it originate? I know the question is a little ambiguous. The answer is pretty simple.
You know, I have to say that I definitely don't like this question. But maybe the answer will convince me otherwise.
Did you write something down?
I did write something down, and I got to say I was kind of influenced by Naju saying that the answer was simple because I was thinking of all these complicated things that it might be.
But he also said you're not going to get it.
Okay, so I probably didn't get it, but I wrote down something simple.
I was saying I feel like I've heard this or read it somewhere, probably on Reddit.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was just thinking simply that people had leather pouches made of pigskin that they put their money in.
Yeah, I was thinking a similar thing, but with like a bladder or something. But I thought that was like way too complicated of an answer. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I mean, that seems to be a simple answer.
That's what you wrote down?
It's just that our actual, it's a sentence. People would put the money in leather skin pouches made of pig skin.
Yeah, I have one word that I wrote down. I just wrote
Bladder?
cartoon.
What?
Was it just based off some cartoon? That's all I'm gonna write. Yeah.
That was maybe too simple of an answer.
like a political cartoon or something.
Yeah, like some sort of thing. I was thinking
my answer was life. It just happened.
Yeah, like something that happened.
So I'm guessing. Go ahead.
Okay,
Max.
so the simple answer is pig clay. It's PYGG clay. And here's the longer description. An orange clay called pig was used to make dishes and jars that were sometimes used to hold spare change.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
At some point, people decided
it has nothing
to use
to do
pig
with
clay
pigs.
to make pig-shaped banks.
Yeah, I gotta say that if it takes a paragraph for you to explain your answer, then that's not a good trivia question.
Yeah.
So that's one ding for David Fikes. Otherwise, he's been pretty good.
It's fine. That stuff comes up sometimes. Oh yeah, another thing that happened while we were on the break was this Jeopardy Greatest of All Time tournament.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I heard
which
about
was
it,
pretty
yeah.
awesome, actually.
Yeah.
What is it, competitive?
Jennings won. Yeah. The one other dude, I forget his name, did pretty bad. The other guy who was like the most winning,
more recent guy?
He won the most money. No.
Oh, back in the day.
The guy who used to
yes.
game the daily doubles or whatever.
What's that?
The guy who used to game the daily doubles or whatever they talked about on the show.
No, that guy did really well.
Okay.
So it was competitive between Ken Jennings and that guy. I forget his name.
Mm.
And then there was a guy before that. He's like the oldest one. He's the one that won before Ken Jennings.
Okay.
Apparently there used to be a cap, like you could only win 5 days in a row. And then when Ken Jennings came on, like that had been lifted a little bit.
They were
before
like,
he
the
came
ratings
on.
are a little too high. We gotta scrap that rule.
But it was interesting because that third dude didn't do too well. The newer guy who was like killing it recently, who won a ton of money, he did pretty well. But
Ken Jennings.
ended up winning it.
Okay.
And there's a lot of talk about. Oh, it's all on Hulu, by the way. So maybe I spoiled it, but you could still go back and watch it.
Okay.
But there's a lot of talk about Ken Jennings taking over.
Oh, for Alex Trebek? Wow.
And he's pretty cool, man. He's been on like some podcasts I listen to, like Doug Loves Movies, where they do like movie trivia.
What was Alex Trebek's like
life before
Jeopardy?
Jeopardy?
Exactly. Like what did he?
Oh,
he
I think
known for, or how did he get that gig? Or
I think I don't remember, man, because he's been on. He's been like since the 70s.
He's probably some media guy, you know.
Right, like I don't want to say.
I don't think he came from the trivia world. Probably from the media world, I'm guessing.
I don't want to say like newscaster or something, but something similar, like somebody that hosts things. In Britain, they call them presenters.
That's a pretty good word for it. Better than a host, honestly.
Dude, and you know that's also interesting because you know Trebek gets kind of like he always gets so surprised when people don't know stuff about Canada because he's Canadian. And I feel kind of the same way watching this university challenge when they ask about American things that it seems so simple.
Obvious that
like
we don't know.
Yeah, like we would know it immediately. Anyway.
How many stripes are on the flag?
Yeah, well, that's a little too easy.
I think it's a little more than 10, but it's not as many as 20.
But yeah, dude, things literally that seem that simple. Like, why would they know it, right?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. All right, Notch, next.
Next question. Question 2, it is 0-0. What does the word karaoke literally mean?
So I've 100% heard this answer before.
Fuck, I haven't.
But I don't remember it.
You've heard it as a question, but you don't remember
like
the
I've heard it as a fact.
I've never heard of this, and I really don't know anything about Japanese, so...
I've heard of it. I just wrote down fun song.
Fun song. I wrote something similar. I wrote placing.
I know...
As 2 words, not placing as a single word.
I know
Play
it means something
sing.
like fun something. I don't even think song is involved in it. I don't think singing is involved in it, in the word itself.
I didn't know. Did you know this, Naju?
I did not.
You did not? Okay.
No. And you guys took it in a different direction than the answer.
It's like it means when you play a song and you read the words and you...
Yeah.
It's like literally asking what karaoke is.
But, you know, yeah, I don't think singing is actually a part of the word, as far as I remember. So what is it, Nudge?
It is empty orchestra.
That's right. Yes. See, I've heard this before. Empty orchestra.
Yeah, that's good. That would be a fun factoid to know. So...
oh shit, Fikes.
Good for you, David Fikes. Or Fix. Or
He's one
we
for
will
one.
never know how to pronounce your name.
Score is 0-0.
All right,
0-0.
still.
Here we go.
God, I know.
Next one.
I got to remember stupid facts like that.
You have to.
I do. It's going to come up on my future Jeopardy appearance.
What? Question number 300. Pardon my pronunciation. What is enuresis?
You got to spell it.
ENURESIS.
Go for it.
I went really like into left field, and I remember that I thought of ellipses, and I thought it's some sort of like punctuation thing or like a diacritic or something, and I just said maybe just shot in the dark that it's like the original English word for an umlaut, so that's what I said.
Huh.
Wow.
I feel like my hair does know this. Yeah, I feel like that does sound like something that has to do with language. Maybe not an umlaut, but something else. I guess.
It sounded like it to me. Like it
is
was
an
somewhere in the
umlaut
back of the brain.
Is an umlaut the line over the straight line?
It's the
Two
double
dots.
dots. It's the
Two
double
dots.
double
Okay.
dots. Yeah.
So maybe it's the accent mark or something like that?
Yeah, it felt like it to me. Like there was something tickling my brain saying it has something to do with some kind of marking.
So I went with something completely different.
Yeah, did you go with like a medical condition? Because that was like the alternate
I
route
thought of
I was
that
thinking.
too. Well, I
like
went with
you're like maybe it's like a bladder disease.
I went with
or something
in biology. I said it's the name of how viruses reproduce. I really doubt it's that.
It sounds kind of scientific too.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe something related to like urea or urine too.
But I think it's closer to what you said.
I don't know. Let's see.
Well, it's closer to what you just said because it is bedwetting.
Is it?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was the other route that I was picking out. Like maybe it's something to do with urine, but
URESIS.
Yeah, I think there's some other words that sound something. At least the endings are similar. That are other like markings, like ellipses.
Urisis.
I wonder where the bed part comes in, or maybe it's sleep or something like that. I'm gonna look this up.
What do we call? No, never mind. I was thinking maybe there was like a root common with nocturnal, but there isn't. N urisis. I wonder what the N is there. I don't know.
It's probably Greek.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, good question though. I like it.
Yeah, here's another one similar. Not really, but you'll get it. 0-0. Question number 4. What is a digamy?
You're gonna have to spell it again. Yeah.
Dig, Amy.
Dig Amy.
Yeah.
DIGAMY.
Yes, digamy.
So
yeah.
we know what bigamy is.
Oh, but that's with an O.
Polygamy? No, it's with an A.
Is it? I went in a different direction.
Well,
wait, what's bigamy?
Bigamy is multiple marriage.
Yeah, I'm thinking bigotry. Never mind. That's with an O.
Yeah.
I went in that. Well, I don't even know what bigamy is. I know what monogamy is, and I was going off of that. Well, mono and di, and I was thinking that.
Polygamy is marriage between...
To many people, yeah.
Right. I know there's a specific word for one woman marrying many men. So maybe that's what this is.
Maybe. But I might have not been specific.
Did you have an answer? Is that your answer?
No, that's not my answer. But
we were both thinking along the same lines. One of us might have been more correct than other.
So polygamy is multiple, many. But bigamy is
two,
more than right?
But also die means two as well, doesn't it?
That's what I was thinking. But doesn't one of them mean like half, like?
Oh, it might.
Two in that sense.
Where does die?
That's why I took that route, and and the marriage one.
Marrying half a person.
So I kind of thought, right? How do you marry half a person?
Would you marry yourself?
Two people marry you. Yeah, that would maybe.
Well, that would be bigamy then.
Yeah.
So I kind of took that and thinking like splitting, and I just said it's divorce.
Oh, that's a good word. That's a good guess. Like divide or divorce.
Or divorce, yeah.
If those are similar roots, like half. I didn't even think of die as half. I thought of it as two. I didn't.
Well, it is two in the sense of like when you split something in half.
The other side is two. Yeah, there's
well,
two.
you split something in half. There's two things remaining.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I wrote marriage to two people.
But that's definitely bigamy.
That's bigamy, I guess. So that might be wrong. Yes. Bob might be right. That sounds like a good explanation.
You're both close. I can't give it to you though, Bobber. It is the second marriage after a death or divorce.
That makes sense.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it means second, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, in this context. Good question. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it isn't specifically what I said.
Yeah.
It's not divorce. It's the marriage after
a divorce
or death.
Or a death. Yeah. All right. Next one, Naj?
Yep. Question 5, 0-0. You guys like the questions at least?
Yeah, I like them except for the piggy bank one, honestly.
Be honest.
I always am.
In 1892, Juan Vucetich was the first person to solve a crime using what?
Juan, as in Juan?
Yes, sir.
And then like a Eastern European last name?
Yeah. Vucetich. Vucetich. Bob knows the answer, apparently.
Okay.
So I know this was around the time period they started using fingerprints. So I'm going to go with that.
Yep, I wrote the same thing. Sounded about right time frame and question matched.
Well, you guys really know Juan Vucetich.
Yeah, I wonder who this guy
Wait, was that the answer?
That is the answer.
okay.
This guy Juan Vucetic is
Yeah,
more interesting.
I want to know about this guy and his like familial history and background.
How do you spell his name? Last name?
Juan Vucetich.
Vucet Vucetic, yeah.
Who knows? Man, I was watching this interesting thing on Hulu yesterday, where these actors and
Hulu
stuff.
advertisement over here.
We'll bleep it out.
No, when have I talked about Hulu before?
Earlier, you're talking about the Ken Jennings. Jeopardy.
Oh, okay, that's right. but there are these short things with like actors and stuff who talk about their like iconic characters they've done.
Mm-hmm.
It's on there now. It says it's gonna expire in a week. They're like short, little 5-10 minute things. Oh yeah, Hank Azaria.
Yeah,
he has a
some
really
of the Simpsons voices, right? That's
Yeah.
what I know.
Lots of them, yeah.
and he has a really interesting family background.
Oh, really?
His family are Sephardic Jews
Okay.
who got kicked out of Spain in like the 1400s. And,
How do you even fucking track something like that? But yeah, go ahead.
well, because I think there's in this specific community, right?
Every
Because-
generation tells that story.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, because this community moved to Greece, and there's a specific community of Greek Sephardic Jews who
that came
left
from Spain.
Spain at that time. Yeah, so that was really interesting. I guess that's why his name is that specific name. It sounds kind of out there. I don't know. Just thought that was interesting because they're not just Jews who live in Greece. They're Jews who live in Greece that came from
through
Spain.
Spain.
They have their own community. Yep. That's it.
Cool. I might read the Wikipedia article on that, the Hank Azaria page.
Yeah.
All right.
That's where I got it.
Still tied 1-1 now. Number 6. Who was the first pilot to fly faster than the speed of sound?
I know. I'm pretty sure I know this,
I definitely know that I don't know it.
but I could be. God, I could be thinking of the wrong guy, but I'm pretty sure it's John Glenn.
Oh, no fucking way. That's what I wrote.
Oh, come on,
Total
man.
guess.
You asshole! You made it seem like you had no idea.
It's hard to read, man.
I really had no idea.
Yeah, we don't trust
you.
you.
We can't read that.
Oh, I can
there we
Sorry.
read
go.
it to you.
No, I'm not saying we don't
Sorry,
believe you.
yeah, we
I'm
don't
saying
believe
stop
you.
showing it to us because we can't fucking read it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
pretty sure.
I didn't know it all, but I figured that's about the right time frame, and he was probably like a elite pilot if he was one of the first few people to put on a.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the one who broke the sound barrier. So
That is incorrect.
Oh, so we were both wrong. but-
shit, man. So
Was it one of the
Hold
other
on.
early astronaut guys?
I don't know who this is.
again, I'm gonna kick myself. 'Cause,
Grissom? There was some guy named Grissom, maybe him.
all right, who is
Who
it?
else was
Chuck
there?
Yeager?
Chuck Yeager, man. That's
Yeager?
who it
Don't
is.
even
He
know
was
who
a
that is.
pilot, man. See, that's.
Yeah.
I was not gonna remember him, but I know I knew this at
you
one
had heard
point.
of this, yeah. I've never heard of him, so good for me.
Stupid.
Even if you got it, I would have canceled you out.
This next question, I would be very surprised if you guys know this.
What is it, 7?
7? Question
Okay.
7?
These are things we gotta know as trivialists.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
Yeah, it is very trivial. It is absolutely trivial.
No, not the Chuck Yeager thing.
No. I'm
That's
talking about
very important.
this next piece of trivia is trivial. Who would have thought? 7. The hard piece at the end of a shoelace is called. The hard piece at the end of a shoelace is called what?
Yeah, I know this too.
What? When did you guys learn this?
Trivia.
This is definitely a trivial piece of information you got.
All right.
I hope I remember it right. Ready? Man, I hope I didn't fuck anything up irrecoverably.
I'm pretty sure I know this just because it's a trivial thing.
Yeah, it's a stupid thing you read. Like, did you know?
I don't read stupid things though, like
Yeah,
you guys.
well, that's your problem. That's why you're the host, Najee.
Should
Well,
we
now
both
you're
say it at the
forcing me to
same
read
time?
stupid
Yeah,
things.
sure.
1, 2, 3.
Aglet.
Aglet.
Yeah. AGLET?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What
we
the
both
fuck,
got that.
dude?
Yeah, that's just one of those very trivial things you learn about.
And I think there's another word for like the loops too.
Yeah,
The
I was just
holes.
going to say the same
I
thing.
don't
Those
remember
holes have
that
a name
word.
too. Yeah.
I mean, those kinds of things are like unnecessarily named.
Nobody needs
Right.
to know.
Yeah. You don't
Nobody
need,
needs
it
to
needs.
know
It
that.
doesn't need to have.
Maybe if you work at like a shoelace manufacturing company, you might need to
Nike.
know it.
Dude, I do remember the name of the pilot that was shot down in the U-2 over the Soviet Union.
Powell. Something Powell.
Powers. I
Powers,
think
fuck.
Gary Powers or
Yeah.
Power. One of the two.
That was the next question.
We learned that in
Great.
like U.S. history class. I
Oh,
think.
yeah. Let's
Okay.
do it.
All right, next one.
Question 822. Apparently, you guys know the one question I said you might not.
Yeah.
What is the only number spelled out in English that has the same number of letters as its value?
Yeah, I went through all the numbers.
So yeah, we paused for a long time there. You guys don't know that, but Maher went through literally every
Yeah,
single
he went
number.
I
through
went through
every
every number.
number.
Yeah, even like the decimals and all the irrational numbers.
Well, I
and
think it's
everything.
kind of easy that it's the fourth number.
Yeah, it's so early in the counting. Yeah.
Yeah, David, you got to do better than that, right?
I was gonna
What did
say-
you write down? Did you write 4?
I wrote 0. I wrote 4, yes.
You are both incorrect. You spell 4 F-O-R.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Hey,
All right, 2-2.
3-3.
3-3, and we got 2 questions left.
Yeah.
Isn't it stupid that they write 40 F-O-R?
That is
TY?
really fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't like
Nobody has made a big deal about this, but I feel like we should.
Did
Of
you?
all the problems in the world, this is the biggest.
Man,
It's weird.
there was an interesting palindrome that they talked about on No Such Thing as a Fish. I think 11... I can't remember now.
Some combination of numbers is a palindrome.
9 plus 2... God damn it, never mind.
Math,
Yeah,
math
none of those
equation.
are working out. It might take a while to remember,
Yeah.
figure it out. All right,
All right, here we go. Tied up 3-3.
penultimate question.
We might end in a draw. Question 9.
Okay,
The U.S. $10,000 bill was last printed in 1945. It is the largest denomination ever in public circulation. Whose portrait appeared on it?
do we need first and last name?
Oh, come on. What are you going to do? Right.
Jeopardy style. So just last.
What are you going to
names?
do, Adams? Like, just pick the president. I think there's 2 Hardings.
10,000. Yeah, one of the Adams is. Okay, you ready?
No. I did write an answer down, but okay. Let's just go. Because I remember this too.
I might. Be
I remember
remembering
knowing
wrong.
this at some point, but it's so random. It could be anyone. What is Grant on? 50?
Yeah, I think he's on 50.
Okay.
I wrote a non-president, and this is also a really trivial piece of information that I think I remember correctly.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
What? Can you repeat the question? I thought it said it was the president.
No, it didn't.
Damn.
$10,000 bill last printed 1945.
I honestly, well, if I get this, the only reason I even know this person exists is because of this trivia question. But I think I got
Who?
it. Man.
Who do you say?
Is it Chase? What did you write, Bob?
Wilson.
Wilson.
Woodrow.
And I'm pretty sure this guy's name was Salmon, which is really fucking weird, but I wasn't sure if I remembered that right.
Woodrow Wilson.
Salmon P. Chase.
Is that right? What
That's
is
fine.
that?
What is that?
He was like some.
It's trivial information,
He was
Bummer,
like
that's
some
what that is.
secretary of the Treasury or something.
that was going to say pride points for telling me his position.
Okay.
Was he Secretary of Treasury?
Yeah, Secretary.
I just
All
remember
right.
randomly remembering this. But
Man,
yeah,
I thought it said president, but
yeah,
Yeah.
but more importantly, what kind of name is Salmon, dude? What the fuck, right?
there are weird names out there. Bobber.
Or maybe the fish salmon was named after some great person named Salmon that discovered it. Maybe the name came first. Who knows?
Salman Rushdie.
Well, no, that's a different name. That's like Solomon. That probably comes from like
Solomon, yeah.
All right,
All right.
Maher took the lead.
Oh, maybe that's where salmon comes from too. We'll have to look that up. I'm
at
gonna
the
look that up.
End of the
next
game.
episode.
Making his clutch free throws.
Chuck
All right,
Yeager.
last cue.
What? No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Number 10 for the win or tie. What is the original name for the pound or number symbol? Or hashtag.
I don't remember the exact name, but I'm pretty sure it's based on the number 9.
The number 9?
Mm-hmm. Because there are 9 cells.
Oh fuck! No, I went with something with 8. Actually, an octo root. And I remember hearing this word, and I thought this was right, but I'm not sure. What did you write?
I wrote. Well, see, that's the problem because the ending on mine is probably way wrong. But I wrote nonogram.
Nonogram? I wrote octothorpe, which I think is a word, which I've read somewhere.
That sounds very, very familiar.
Because it has 8 arms rather
sounds
than
very
9
familiar.
cells.
That might be it.
And I think I remember reading this when I was reading about the redesign of the Slack logo. But very vague memories. So, what is it, Naj?
You are correct.
That's it. Nice.
Octothorpe. Nice.
All right.
Was that a more legitimate win since you got that, Bob?
What do you mean legitimate?
You didn't like the
You
chase.
didn't like the chase
You didn't
one?
like the chase one.
I think he liked it.
No, I didn't dislike it. I was just surprised because I didn't know it.
Just a little thing. It says it is for Octothorpe. It is believed to have been made up by workers at Bell Telephone Labs, who needed a name for the symbol on the telephone keypad.
How did they come up with Thorpe?
Yeah, I guess that
Doesn't
was
say.
a kind of underwhelming explanation.
Well, that's interesting. These were some really trivial things. I should have gotten Chuck Yeager. That's the only thing I'm upset about.
I thought for the most part the questions were pretty good. They were pretty hard.
I think
Yeah,
the first one was fine too. Like it's very trivial. If you knew it,
yeah, if you knew it,
I
you would
think
just
they could have rephrased the question so that you could give a single answer, rather than a paragraph.
There was the way. That's what I don't like about it is the way the question was phrased was like, how.
Yeah,
And
Right.
it's like, okay, what the fuck does that even mean?
If that's your question is a how question, that's not
Right.
really trivia. Yeah.
all right, GG guys.
Yeah, good game,
game.
Bob.
Well, welcome back,
Handshake.
everybody.
Welcome back. We're
after
glad
this.
you guys are still listening. At least some of you guys.
Yeah, I mean the world survived this awful month, so
Next month will be
Not
better.
the whole world.
well, that's very true.
Yeah.
All that Australian wildlife, those poor koalas.
Yeah.
All right.
R.I.P. to koalas. R.I.P. Kobe.
Get all the
R.I.P.
shitty
Katulas.
things out
Yeah.
at the beginning of 2020, and the rest of it's going to be good.
February is going to be a good month, guys. Signing out.
Don't
Bye.
say that. That's bad luck.